All right, Rich, you're up.
All righty, thank you very much, Sharon. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the 10th of February, 2023 at 9 a.m. And this is a special meeting of the Waterville Valley Select Board. I am the chair, Rich Rita. With me today is Vice Chair Margaret Turner and Select Board Member Bob Freeze. We have a quorum. So let's go ahead and just get the official signature for the 2023 town meeting warrant and the MS 636 out of the way.
Okay, well, actually, this, Rich, we need to go through
Yep.
each of the articles. Beginning with Article 5. And we need, well, by putting them on the warrant articles 5, 6, and 7, I put in recommend approval 3-0. If you're
I
okay with
saw
that.
that.
And
Those
then
are good.
Start
Right.
with number 8.
Right. Could I just back up very
yes.
quickly? I'm sorry I missed the planning board meeting yesterday, but is the planning board planning to have any sort of explanatory sheet up for the voting portion of our,
Well, there are several sheets available at town hall. That
explain the
have
zoning amendments is what I'm
at least
looking
a
at.
little, yes, there's a little.
Blurb for each one, because it'll be confusing, but basically Article 2 and Article 3 are just to comply with state law. I think
Yes.
that's all we have to say. And Article 4 is recommended by the town council to define concert.
Yeah.
So I think if just had that, is it that what, I didn't notice them yet, but if. they-
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
what Tara put in her little blurbs. We've got that piece of paper that's
Okay.
behind.
Because
or
people
there's
will
a
come
couple
in
of
and ask
pages that
anyway.
are Behind.
Yeah, it's
The
posted
counter.
online, too.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think they have one, you know how they put one of those.
We're gonna
movable-
have one of the dividers.
Yeah.
Actually, we're gonna have 4 dividers
Okay.
available, so we can put them on 11 by 17 paper and tack them up.
Yeah.
there. People wanna read.
Very simple, yeah, should make it easy. Okay, so moving on,
Article 8,
Article 8,
so 8 through 20.
all right. The Votorama time,
Yeah, it's Votorama time, however you guys want to do it.
all right, is there any further discussion on Article 8?
That's the CISA grant.
Okay, I have to mention that then on the town cybersecurity infrastructure grant. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion. For a
So
vote.
moved.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Article 9. To raise and appropriate the sum of 140,000 for the emergency breathing apparatus. 110,000 is appropriation, hopefully to come from the New Hampshire Department of Public Safety. Any discussion on this? A motion,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Article 10. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of 40,000 for the road repair and maintenance capital reserve fund. Any discussion? A motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Article 11. To raise and appropriate sum of 25,000 to be added to the fire apparatus capital reserve fund. Any discussion? A motion,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I should be noting that for the record that all of these amounts are not included in the Article 24, which we'll be coming to. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate sum of 10,000 to add to the Curious George Cottage Capital Reserve Fund. Discussion, motion,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
13, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate sum of 100,000 for the purpose of funding the Stories of Waterville Valley. 50,000 to come from fund balance if and only if the program is able to raise 50,000, at least 50,000 in grant monies for the project. Discussion.
I think we should not have a recommendation on this one. I think we should let the town decide.
Okay,
I agree.
Bob, all right. No recommendation, I concur. A 3-0 vote not to not recommend, okay. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate sum of 90,000 for repairs and maintenance to town hall, public safety vehicle bays and repaving town hall DPS parking lot.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 16, vote,
15.
oh, I'm sorry, 15, yeah, 54,000. To appropriate sum 54,000 for the purpose of purchasing and outfitting a new police cruiser. I don't have that to say that it's come from town tax. I mean, it'll be in that. Okay. Discussion, motion,
so moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we go to 16, raise and appropriate sum of 50,000 for emergency repairs and general maintenance of the wastewater collection system. Any discussion? A motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 17, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 50,000 for capital repairs and maintenance of the ice arena. Any discussion? Motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, to see if the town will vote to raise Article 18, excuse me. Raise an appropriate sum of 50,000 for the purpose of planning and engineering future dredging of Corcoran Pond. Any discussion?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Article 19. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 40,000 for repairs and replacement of the public safety ambulance. Any discussion? A motion?
so moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Article 20, to see if the town will vote to raise an appropriate sum of 25,000 for capital repairs and equipment replacement at the Corcoran Pond waterfront and beachfront. Any discussion? A motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, Article 21. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 20,000 for capital repairs and maintenance of the water distribution system. Any discussion? A motion?
So moved.
Second already, I heard, all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 15,000 for the final payment, for the payment for the final year of the 3-year lease for the Public Works pickup truck with plow equipment. Discussion, motion,
So moved.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Article 23, to see if the town,
There's no voting
No
on
voting.
this. But weren't we
Right.
gonna change the wording here
That
to
was
say
what I was
up to?
It's always up to,
Oh, okay,
I mean, you never have to spend a penny of it.
okay,
So you have that.
right.
okay, so there is no recommendation. This
Right.
select board
Attached to
has.
this is town, decide what you want to do.
That's right, but this was a petition warrant article. No, that's right. We ended up, went back and
Mhm.
forth and we ended up proposing the warrant article. Is that where it stands right now, as far as you know? I mean, this.
Yeah.
This is where it's gonna stand then, right? Okay. Article 24, okay. To see if the town will vote to raise an appropriated sum of $5,613,874 for general municipal operations. Any future further discussion on this?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
didn't we already vote on the selectmen ordinances, or we just
You
voted
did.
to move them to the warrant?
Right.
So if you, the only one that you didn't vote on was Article 25. Everything else was voted on. We had the back and forth about how we were gonna word it.
Yes,
And there was a question about whether you were gonna keep it all federal holidays.
Right.
We've made that decision, but you've never voted.
Okay,
right. We never voted on our recommendation. We
That's
just
correct.
voted to
That's
advance it. Okay,
That's
so. To see if the town will vote to amend Selectmen's Ordinance number 8, the noise ordinance.
And we have kept all federal holidays and any observed.
We are adding observed
That's
to
what we're
it,
adding.
right? Any further discussion? All in favor? Well, motion, please.
So moved.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Article 27, Selectmen.
No,
Ord-
you've already
Oh, we
already
did.
done 27.
Oh, there you go. We have,
29,
we have,
30.
there we go.
Yep.
Read what I'm looking at. Okay.
31 is by
31 is
petition.
by petition. so
All right, we don't do anything on that one.
32 is community power.
Power, See if the town will vote to adopt the Waterville Valley Community Electric Power Plan, which will authorize the Board of Selectmen to develop and implement the Waterville Valley Electric Power Plan as described therein.
There will be an edit to this. We're gonna remove the word electric. So the power plan itself is just the Waterville Valley Community Power Plan. So we gotta take the word
Electric.
electric out of there. So that's what
Yeah.
will be in the.
Okay, fine, that's just a cosmetic.
Yep.
Change, because all it is electric anyway. Okay, any further discussion on this motion, on this article, a motion,
So moved.
second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
where's the Britain land?
It's the third,
It's a
it's the
bond,
third bond.
Oh, okay, the third bond issue, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, so we're down to Article 33.
Yeah, this wording
Is
is
by state.
from the town council and
Okay.
state law. It is just in changing the solar energy from just the heating portion being run by solar energy to the entire house or residence being run by solar heating. So the way we currently have adopted it,
Right,
it must be part of the heating system
right,
to be eligible to be exempt.
right. But
And
this brings
state
us
law
into
changed.
compliance with,
And we're
State
bringing
law.
it back.
okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to read this out, or is your explanation, I think,
I
for the
think-
record?
I think for the record, it's okay if it's all right with you.
Yep, any discussion, guys?
No.
Okay, a motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor? Aye, aye, and aye.
And then the optional veterans tax credit is exactly from state law. It basically expands the people who will be eligible. I do not know the status of our new residents or anything like that, so I can't, it's gonna make you eligible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I shouldn't vote on this one.
Yeah, you should probably abstain. If you're a
Abstain,
person
yeah.
that-
Yeah, I think I do.
But basically it expands the definition of eligible veteran.
So this is Article 34 to comply with state.
To comply
change
with state law, the actual exemption amount of $500 is what we grant today.
Madam Vice Chair, would you like to?
So that's $500 off someone's tax bill?
Yes, so you calculate the tax bill and then take $500 off. It's not a reduction in their value.
Yeah, I will recuse myself.
Okay.
because I'm
So I
potentially
benefit from this. I already.
But
benefit
you
from-
already benefit,
Yes.
you don't benefit from the change.
Oh,
So-
what was the change?
Well, the change
expanded
expanded
the-
who was eligible.
Yeah.
So it's no longer truly a war service credit. It's
Really a veterans.
a veterans credit.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, so moved.
Second.
all right, so this
2-0,
is
one
2-0,
abstention.
one abstention.
Right. Okay. We don't have anything, 35 and 36 of pro forma. And I guess that covers all of the articles.
Yep.
So we ended up with 36. I thought we had gotten down to like under 30, but I guess,
Well, in terms of what we have to discuss at the meeting, you have to take off the first.
Well, that's
three,
true.
First four.
that's true. Those
Yeah.
that will, we will know shortly after the meeting presumably.
Okay, and the rest of the packet is just, or you've got just. So
Okay,
the other part of this is the related, it's called the MS 636.
Yep.
It is the state's version of what you just voted on.
yep,
It is still in draft form because DRA staff is reviewing it and we have to type in the votes you just took into the form.
Mhm.
But everything ties out. We're gonna make sure that if DRA has any questions on the budget about what we have put on every line, but basically we have taken this budget and we've inputted it into the state system they've come up with their own budget form, which is called the 636.
So this is just the
And
official formal form we will
that's the-
sign when it's finalized.
That's right.
That
So-
records all these votes
Records all the
and the
votes.
budget.
And the budget.
Do
Yeah.
we sign that now or do
Uh,
we
no,
say
it-
no?
And I think, no, you don't need to if you want to initial it or whatever. It's the same thing as what's here.
Right,
We're gonna post this proposed budget summary and the estimated revenue sheet, the one pager that goes in the town report
mhm,
for revenues. We will post this with the warrant that you guys signed. When the 636 is finalized, we'll get you guys to come in
Okay.
and sign it.
okay,
And then we've got to post the 636 with the warrant as well. So it's just required, so.
You know,
Stupid
paperwork.
requirements.
Alrighty,
So
do we have?
that's everything with the budget. Do you want to talk about Margaret's?
Yeah, let's
Questions?
review what happened quickly. Or have a discussion, however long it takes on the budget hearing.
and before I forget, there was one other thing, I
Mhm.
noticed on. The slide for the 37 million, there was nothing mentioned about land purchase.
It is, it's in the warrant article.
I know, but it wasn't on the slide.
Well, that's because I have a meeting with him in 40 minutes and hopefully it'll be a non-issue.
Okay,
It's part
Yeah.
of the construction costs.
Okay,
We didn't call it out as a separate line item. Once we settle on a price.
yeah,
Then I'll take the amount out of the construction cost and on the slide for town meeting, I will put the land
So
purchase.
so
in.
James is coming in.
Yeah, he's coming in at 10.
okay, well, we'll see what happens. And I noticed, I read right through it this time, but you got the numbers fixed for the Article 24. You had two different numbers and
Yes. we
when
fixed it.
fixed it. Good. I hate to have to go back and
We won't have to come back, I promise.
have to do that again. All right, so fellow board members, any comments,
So
observations?
can I just go down through these?
Yeah, yeah.
Have at it.
The median salary for a police officer of the people listed there, Margaret, we will go through my. Information from prior town meetings. I don't know. Exact. we
I'm
probably
looking for
can-
the survey information.
I don't think we have the NHMA survey information for past years, which was the way I was. Or are
Right,
you looking for this year?
I was looking for the last one that we did 4 years ago.
I
And
hope,
that
yes.
versus this year.
We'll check the records to see if we have the regional survey data. Gotta figure out where that is.
From 2019.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
when the last time we did it. in
I know we
2019.
have 2011, but I'm not sure about the 19 discussion. We'll look through. I'm
Okay.
sure
So-
there's a file. of-
So what are you suggesting we do here?
Well, since it is our goal to have our employees, fully qualified employees who are with us for a while to be at least to the median of our salary range, I think it's worth talking about. Let me start back at the beginning. My general impression is that people that don't work with compensation all the time don't understand this stuff. Okay, so when they hear us
complicated, yeah.
talking about 12% increase, 15% increase, they go, oh my God, the cost of living isn't that high. What's that all about?
Right.
So I think we need to set an environment that educates them a little about what's going on. Okay, so the one thing that occurs to me is that looking at the salary surveys that were done the last time we did them, this time we did them, there's going to be a difference in those median salaries, and I think it was about 15%.
Mhm.
Okay, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But just showing them how much the base salaries have changed in just that 4-year period of time. Okay,
So you're talking in general about these jobs, not specifically.
not
jobs.
specifically our people. Okay, just talking about the fact that the labor climate in which we exist, and we compete for all these jobs throughout the state. Okay, these are the town manager, you can make an argument, well, you know, there's all different sizes of towns and all of that kind of thing. But all of these other positions are positions that we recruit with throughout the state. And when our people leave us, they go to these positions elsewhere in the state. So I think it's worth saying, okay, here's what the salary surveys are telling us are happening to these positions. Okay. And that, you know, our goal when we set our ranges is to get our people who are fully qualified and have been with us for a while more towards the middle of the position as opposed to the bottom. Okay, because if you don't do that, then when you have somebody new coming in, all of a sudden your system is out of whack. Okay, so that's the first thing.
Okay.
I know that we can show a history of what our
Yes.
cost of living increases were.
Yeah.
And I think people have forgotten that there were years when there was 0 or
Zero.
1% or that kind of thing.
Yep.
But the last 2 years, the COL, I know it was, what,
6.5 last.
it was 6.5
year.
last year.
6.7.
And what is it this year?
This year, it varies. There's no cost of living.
Every.
No, no, no,
employee-
no. I'm not talking about the employee salary.
the
I'm
actual-
talking
Oh,
about what the actual
Oh,
thing
it
was.
was,
Came in. a
it
little
was
under-
around 6.5.
It came- it
Okay,
ended up
So,
dropping down.
so just in the last
Right.
few years, we know it's gone up 13%. Cumulatively, and there was more to add from before that.
Right.
So we're talking about at most a 12% increase. And not everybody is getting that.
That's correct.
But at least a 12% increase, which is less than what the cost of living is going on right now.
Well,
Well,
we gave 6 last year.
We
gave
did,
6
we
this-
did,
And
we did.
and if somebody got 12 this year.
I understand,
I
but
think it's a
still.
slippery slope that you're going
Well,
down.
but I don't think it's a slippery slope to explain that they got little or nothing for several years.
How many people actually got 6 or more this year
we can count
increase?
those.
I mean, that's how you may be able to get
I
at it.
think we averaged, if I remember right, if you
Yeah.
take out the positions that went from part-time to full-time,
No, I think it was around 8 or 9.
around 8%.
So it
I
averaged,
think
some
that-
people got 12, some people got 4.
I think that's.
It
what we should
averaged-
Focus on more is with the overall was 8% at the time.
Right, I agree.
At the time we did it, cost of living was about 8.5%, now it's 6.5%. But
But we're also calculating that the structural change to our
Right.
pay system
sure, I
Right.
agree.
to move. So that's why it bumped
Right.
it up a bit.
Right,
Right.
And we moved away from cost of living as a way to deal with it this year anyway.
this
Yeah.
year.
I think we
Yeah.
should try not to mention the high end, a couple of high end people that.
Yeah, I don't want to throw any individuals into this
No.
discussion. I just
Absolutely.
want them to understand what the labor climate is that we're dealing with. People hear rumors about it, but they somehow
Right.
think that it doesn't affect the town.
And we're competing not only with other towns, but with
Right.
commercial
Right.
entities as well.
And you already did something about benefits coverage in the various
Yes.
towns. We have that slide already, I think. And I'm not saying that we should necessarily include all of these things in the presentation. I'm saying that we should have some of those things in our pockets and in our heads as backup
Yeah.
for some of the things that are going to come up.
Just one question. With respect to showing the COLA increases over the course of the past 10 years. Are we wanting to try to articulate the fact that having those 1%, 1.5% COLA increases has actually placed some of the more long-term employees?
We were falling behind.
Is that?
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
it's
that's-
factual.
Yeah.
That's,
So
Yeah.
there's already a box on the personnel calc sheet.
Yeah.
That compares the COLA with
Right.
the actual cost of living inflation number.
Yeah.
So that's very easy to,
I'm just trying to think of how to,
Yeah.
if we want to paint that picture, paint that story.
well, that's the purpose of,
Okay.
that's the purpose of it.
All right.
Yeah.
But I think
Um,
Margaret's right, a lot of people. don't
Well,
know this.
and I think Bob's right too. You gotta pull out the people that are, because the people that we're transferring, either that we're fully funding this year that we only partially funded last year, or the people were changing from part-time to full-time, they skew the
Mhm.
number.
Yeah.
A little.
should
bit.
mention
So
that as
I-
well.
You know what, we did a breakdown on one of the
Yeah.
spreadsheets where we pulled them out
Yeah.
and looked at the balance.
Right.
So we'll just go
That's-
back and look at
Yeah,
that.
that's,
and-
that's worth
I think
having in
that's
our
a good-
heads as
8%.
well.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Right.
But that's a good point.
Right. So Joan Sweeney stood up and said, well, the benefits line is $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have always been under the impression that the vast majority of our budget is personnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
A third of our.
Third.
Okay,
over a third of
okay.
our budget.
Has that
The
changed much
biggest-
in the last 10
It's the
years?
largest,
Yeah.
It's the largest
single-
cost.
Right,
expense.
right.
which makes sense.
So there's a consistency in terms of what percent of the total town budget is employees.
And we can.
And that's
We can show
in
that.
spite of the fact that we haven't had that many increases in employees. We had
That's
that
right.
chart that you already showed that said
Five,
back when we only had 200 people or
We had
300
20,
20,
people.
and now we're up
we
to
had
25.
Yeah,
21. now
Yeah.
we're at-
Yeah.
right, right. So we have that. And what was the other thing I was thinking about?
Well, and there's also. if-
Oh, and also what's happened to the New Hampshire retirement costs
Right.
and
All
the
those are
medical
fixed,
costs.
right? We have no control.
We have
over
no
those.
control over them and they
Health
have gone up and
insurance,
gone up and gone up.
Retirement,
And that's worth mentioning.
absolutely. I was thinking that too.
And in spite of all that,
We've still held.
we've still have a third of our cost, not 40%, not 50%. A third of our cost is pretty consistently over the years been in personnel costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same argument for the rec department, by the way. People are
Mm-hmm.
fixating on the top line number, but not seeing the actual impact
Mhm,
on the tax rate
mhm,
over time,
right,
which shows a much more steady level,
right.
right?
And then
Yeah.
I know that we have some good stories.
Mhm.
That, that we should be prepared to tell. How long have we been looking for a wastewater treatment operator? And
We-
what,
we- I think I said it on Wednesday night, but it was 6 months and 3 applicants. I thought I mentioned that.
yeah, but the story of what we ultimately had to do to get
Yes. Oh, yeah,
someone,
that's what I
get
was
another
thinking.
Yeah.
person into the
Yeah.
wastewater treatment.
That's what I was thinking of when you were going through your peroration
You
on
know,
that.
it's
Realize how the
Um,
gyrations and the hoops we have to
we
go
had,
through.
we even
Well, you
have
guys had to go
difficulty. And I think the story that I've heard from Pat, and I'm sure other police officers know this as well. About how our police, sometimes they come in when they take a pay cut, but they come for the benefits and they come because this is a town that supports their police. So there are other elements in there, but I don't want anybody to walk away from this discussion thinking that we're overpaying our
Right.
employees,
No, I
because we are not. We are not throwing money away when it comes to, and the other thing is that we have, I think, for the most part, a super group of employees. We really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not know the people in Public Works.
Mhm.
But I see them out there and they are working and they have smiles on their faces and, they interact with everybody and say hello and all that kind of thing. And our whole group, in my opinion, is at least focused that way.
Yes.
Someone even made a comment about DPW and how courteous they are driving through our town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's nice. to
Yeah.
hear.
Police
Absolutely.
officers talking about people waving to them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in a lot of places. So anyhow, there's an atmosphere there and I just do not want to get into a discussion that somebody thinks we're overpaying our employees or that our employees think they should be paying more for our benefits when we're surrounded by towns that are increasing,
Right.
the employer share on benefits. So that's kind of my speech.
No, I think all of
And
it.
I don't think they're,
Put together.
I don't think you necessarily have to put all of that stuff in the formal presentation, but I would have it as backup.
I
if
think
if
what we'll
questions-
do is do an information sheet like Brooke did for the rec. And
Exactly.
just get like 4 or 5 of these informations. Yeah,
Mhm.
just like. that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll break it
That's,
down.
that was very telling, wasn't it?
Yep,
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
Thought that was good.
What about some information on tenure?
On what?
On tenure, sure.
Yeah.
How long people have been here? Yeah.
Bob, any observations about the meeting you'd like to share? Anything
No.
you'd like us to?
No, I thought it went
Consider-
really well.
I thought it was a
Okay.
really good meeting. I said to several people, I just wish people would come into the select board
Yeah.
Yeah,
and do this on a regular basis,
I-
you know,
I couldn't
because
be-
it's
I
so,
don't know why, maybe I need your IT help. I can't open the Win. The attachments that say Win doc.
you must not have
You must not have
the word,
Word document or
program.
program on your.
I try on my iPad and then I get down to my Microsoft, you know,
What are the files that come up like that? Are they PDFs that you?
like the
can-
one that Amy sent, the kudos.
Oh, you're not getting that.
Oh,
well,
just the body of the email you're not getting?
The attachment, I can't open the attachment.
What did she attach, Mark?
I don't remember.
see,
It says Win. Win
Oh,
doc.
in dat. It's a
Well, that's-
data,
yeah.
yeah, it's nothing to open.
Yeah, it's the
yes.
metadata for a document.
Oh. Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I
her whole thing was just kudos?
It was just a.
Yeah.
kudos
Oh.
Comment.
Yeah. Yeah, data is just
Okay.
Metadata.
metadata that you usually don't see. Or if you know how you can.
but
So
yeah,
you-
I did think it went very well. And
Do you think it would be beneficial for us to put this together and for me to sit down with Joan before the meeting? Ask her to come in if she will?
I mean, she's made comments to me when I first became a selectman, she made comments to me about benefits. And I thought.
Oh, no, when she was a selectman, she
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
That was.
right,
I would give her the
Okay.
courtesy, see if she's interested in.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think it might make sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
just tell her where we're coming from.
Yeah. I'll just share the information that we put together. We'll do this info sheet and review it on the 22nd with you. And then
Okay,
I'll call her and ask her to come in before town meeting.
Okay,
okay,
Then the rec land. So Tom's comment, yes, there is a lot of that land that's in the flood zone, but it does not prohibit
Right.
construction.
that's the point.
It just,
And I think we should acknowledge that
Yeah.
the debris from the old inn was buried there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
You know,
nothing-
the household trash, there was an incinerator over here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
That's where most of the household trash went to.
Well, only for a few months.
Oh, I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, no, it was just a couple of months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then they shut it down because
But
there
yeah.
wasn't enough.
I think we did it, I think
Oh,
we
we
did
did,
at the
and-
meeting, which was recorded, but we should be more
Yeah, we should be
Forward.
more forward.
forward with
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
And there was a concern when Mike was on the board,
Right.
when you offered it
Mhm,
initially to
right.
the town, there were concerns about.
yes,
Yeah.
the-
Right, and we did
Yes.
check with town
We checked
council
with
and
town council,
they basically said,
stay away from it.
stay away. from-
stay away
Yeah.
from it.
But it wasn't, now, given the fact that it is the only parcel of land left. and
Right.
That all of, that was all pre-development that's
Yeah.
been going on.
Right.
So there are different considerations now.
I do think we have to have at hand. What town council is saying now.
Yeah.
People always, say, well, what did, okay, but what did they actually say now with regard
Yeah.
to live, why did they change their mind? I think
Yeah.
we do need that, that's a valid. That's a
Mhm.
valid
Yeah.
question for the voters.
I'll work with town council and try to get
Right.
some sort of.
If I
Yeah.
remember correctly, there were differences in the state records.
Yes.
There was
correct?
this one,
Yeah,
there
There's
was
only
this-
one page in the state
this
record.
old record that somebody dug up, right? Right. It goes back, what, 40,
Well, it was dug up by.
Yeah.
The condo attorney. Found it initially, then our town council went and looked in the.
and I think
DES
that's what,
records And confirmed that there is only one page in there
right,
that refers to. it.
but I think at that point, it was, okay, that was
So right
put
now,
us over
just
into the
definitely.
negative column.
That's right.
I think we were favorably disposed to it, and then we found out about this, and then we backed off. But now other considerations come into play, and the liability issue may not be as much as we thought it was, but if we can have the town council
Well,
language on that, that would be helpful.
One thing that I don't think I heard at the budget hearing is the fact that it's the seller's preference. That the town purchases the land,
well,
you know,
I don't think
I'll-
that matters.
you know.
I'll talk,
I've talked to several people since then, and I said, look. The reason it's before you is so you can decide whether it's worth the town owning it and being able to do something with it over
That's right.
time.
Yeah.
Or whether you want somebody else to own it, who may very well put a fence around it.
That's right. Mike's dream goes away.
Mike's
I mean,
Stream goes away.
You know,
Simon's-
Craig, I'm
Simon's
sure we
path
have
goes
all
away.
kinds of ideas on what to do with
it
it.
does,
Yeah,
it does.
but that's basically up to the town, and it's gonna take a super majority to pass.
Right.
Because it's a bond.
Right,
So it's gonna take 3/5
right.
yay vote
Yeah.
to approve it.
And Craig has mentioned horses there to me. and-
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he has
Actually,
to
I-
me
I- right after I signed an agreement with David
Yeah.
Britton. Sean from Snowy Owl
Yeah,
asked me to come and see him, and he was interested in doing a horse operation there.
Mhm.
I said, well, it's already under contract, so.
but I think also I've heard through the grapevine that the High Country
Yes,
Condo Association interest is real
they
as well,
want to
And-
buy it and.
Right.
and do
Fence it.
nothing.
Do nothing.
I actually talked to Alan about that. He mentioned it to me that
Mm.
they were in the process and
Well, they're the ones who
As-
found the
right,
issue.
and basically said David came in underneath them and got it, but they would do nothing with it. Whether or not they'd allow people to
Yeah,
use the land,
and a lot of people do use it.
oh
A
yeah,
lot,
I use it all the
and,
time.
you know, all the people who have dogs up there along
It's
that,
a nice,
they
it's a nice
bring
cut
their
through.
dogs around the circle. The new
What
people
High
that
Country
bought-
would do is they
Yeah.
would cut down trees that impacted their view.
Right.
As time goes on.
Sure,
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
but leave
people,
it undeveloped.
the
basically.
people that bought the old Carlisle property don't seem to mind people chopping across.
They haven't
there.
said
Nobody has
anything
said
yet,
Anything to anyone.
Although it's a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
dangerous of late. You can slide a long way down if you're not careful.
Yeah.
There's nothing blocking you.
No
now.
more trees.
No more trees to stop you,
Yeah.
as hard as that may be. There was something else with that just escaped my mind, but
Well, I mean, just,
I know.
like, I asked what you can do with that. You can put a building on it.
yes,
You,
that,
you can make a
Yes.
field, you can make a parking lot. We talked about some
a
of those
picnic
things, but
area.
A picnic
Keep the
area,
trails out of
yeah.
there, that there are two
Only
walking
because
trails
I
and one
think-
bike trail, or
Only-
several bike trails.
Yeah, I think that rather than talk about specific uses,
Mhm.
that I think you said it, Bob, that whatever's allowed in the rec zone can be done there.
Yeah,
Right, and
And,
the town,
and the town
at
would
town
look at
meeting.
that at town meeting and,
right.
Mhm.
you know, we can't do anything without money and that means going back to town
I
meeting.
think speculating is a mistake.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like, right, we don't have any plans for
Don't
it.
have any
and-
plans.
Okay,
We
but,
just- we
but
just think
answering
13
the
acres
question
of
that
recreational
said-
land, we think the town should own it.
Yeah,
Right.
the floodplain and the
But not-
Shoreline Protection Act don't
They
really,
don't prohibit
they
Right.
don't
and
prohibit.
development.
it will not
Development.
prohibit a
They got
private
it.
entity coming in and
That's-
purchasing that property and
That's
being
right.
able to
Do
build
something.
on it or do something on it. So that's the decision the town
Right.
face.
Right.
I think it's pretty
Mhm.
straightforward.
It's almost like an insurance policy for the town. to
Yeah.
Prevent
Yes,
something else happening.
that
we
might
don't-
be a
that
good.
we
way
wouldn't
to
like.
do it. Yeah,
But there could be anything that's zoned rec in
Could be
there.
new and ice, another ice arena.
could be, if they could figure out how to meet all of the other requirements,
It,
sure.
it could be, I don't know, miniature golf with a little restaurant. I don't know anyone who do something like that.
Wonder who would do that.
You know, with a little ice cream stand down in there and just saying.
Just saying.
But you know where I'm going.
And we move on.
But yeah, and the 60% supermajority, I mean, is another break on it if people have some real
And then the
concerns.
Yeah, the last thing was the question about the sewer. There are so many variables to determine the value of the land, including the sales data. Right now, all we do is we note whether they're on septic or whether they're on town water and sewer. That's all we do in the assessing records. I think we could probably get something from Steve Hamilton that says, generally speaking, if a property has access to town water and sewer, it usually sells for a higher price. But it's hard to make that a definitive.
Yeah.
It was not part of the calculation of the assessments and during the reval.
Well, yes, it is noted. Yes.
But was
we
there,
do
was there
note-
an amount?
No, there's
So
no.
there was no amount, right,
That's-
okay.
That's.
And that's what you were trying
Specifically
to get at.
associated with it.
Mhm.
It's because they always do the sales analysis, so.
But as a general rule, like would they discount it 2%, 3%? I mean, is there a general rule in
Depends on
assessing?
what happens, depends on what happens with the sales. I mean, if the sales of in a neighborhood
I
that is
see.
not on water and sewer
Right.
are high, those property values are gonna be high.
Yeah, I think it's hard to.
It's hard to
Yeah.
I don't think so,
put
yeah,
a number.
It's just, somebody came
But-
up to me afterwards and said, look, their property is gonna be valued lower because they aren't on town water, therefore they're saving money on their taxes.
but that might not
Well,
be,
But that
but
may
what
or
I-
may not be the case,
Well,
yeah,
but they don't get charged for sewer.
sewer, right?
They- For the sewer service, they see the $60, that's the trash fee.
Mhm.
right,
It goes under sewer, but it's
Right.
really the trash. And then the, we can ask Steve Hamilton if there's a percentage
I
that,
mean, we're
Yeah.
talking
As an
about
assessment.
2027,
yeah, right,
so we got a few years to
exactly.
noodle this thing.
That's right.
and we are looking at an engineering study to see,
Yeah,
What
if
it
they
would
give us
cost.
money for the roads or, whatever they want to do.
I think it's worth doing a calculation
Yeah,
at some point
yeah.
that says, if we. Took these 20 properties out of the tax base in calculating. If we created a district, what would that mean? I think we should at least know the answer to that.
Yes. And really, we would be creating a district of the whole town except
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, so
But-
I think we should know the answer to that.
when you do that, you have to elect a board
Yeah,
and they control everything.
Yeah.
Not the selectmen. So
Mhm.
that's another consideration when you're putting this together. I mean, we can do a
Yeah.
sewer and water district, but it's going to take those functions away from the town and set it up with the district.
so. you know,
Nothing wrong with
one
research.
option is we don't do anything.
Right.
Another option is we put sewer, we put sewer
Put
on
sewer, water.
Greeley Hill. And the third option is. we
Create a
create-
sewer
we
district.
create
Create a
a district.
Yeah.
So, but we get time to,
to flesh all those out.
yeah, it's not something like his tax bills are gonna be impacted this year.
No, right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's-
Although if we're gonna-
Plus, he has the ability to hook in.
He does.
Well, his particular property,
In
but
his
not
case,
but
not
not
the others.
going up
Yeah.
Snow's Mountain, but he can
Right.
come at it from a different angle. The time may be a little shorter than you're surmising, Bob, because if we're gonna open up Snow's Mountain Road, that would be the time
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
do it, if we're gonna do like Snow's Mountain in 24,
I was just saying,
25, yeah.
24, 25.
but
so
on next year's town warrant, there could be
There could
something that
be-
says,
Once we get the
this is how
engineering
much it would
costs,
cost.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we got at least a year.
I'll send an email to Steve and see
Yeah.
if he can get us
See you.
that.
Any kind of quantification.
Yeah.
Or what their standard, whatever
Absolutely.
language.
Good.
Is there anything else?
No,
that's
that's
struck?
it.
That's
That's
it.
all I have. we'll get those numbers together and talk about them on the 24th.
The only other thing I had is I think we-
Public?
Yeah, I got one quick
Yeah.
non-public, right?
just one quick thing here. I do think we handled the sidewalk issue well. But that's gonna come at us again.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm gonna go back to SE Group and see if there is data to address the safety. So I'm gonna do it two ways. I'm gonna look for the actual design data. And we have a town core working group meeting scheduled
For the 14th.
for the 14th at 12:30. And we're gonna sit down. Dave Noyes already has a plan, or some recommendations for ways to let Jim continue to maintain it, but to visually separate it from the road. And I think we can come up with a good case and maybe some bullet points on a slide. But I think it's gonna be important for somebody else to talk to this rather than me, like somebody. I asked Wendy to think about the town core working group,
Mhm.
either she.
This
or
has come out of the
Tom,
pedestrian study.
Because it's
We're
coming
following
out
the
of the
pedestrian study.
So we can find a way to do
Right.
that in 1 or 2 minutes, and because I think we do need to address the questions that were raised.
Right.
I'm kind of felt like people walked away saying, well, they don't give a crap. They're not gonna.
They're
address our-
discounting
They're
an issue
discounting
of
our
safety,
Right.
an issue of safety, but
We gotta show them that. we've
a part of
taken-
that would have to be, okay, how much would raised granite sidewalks add to, going forward?
Right.
Add to,
Yeah, a lot, but
Yeah.
yes, we'll try to quantify that.
we good on that then? All right,
Yeah.
and we
real
can
quick,
continue if
non-public.
anything comes. We can continue this discussion.
So go into. non-public
Yes, but I have a
and-
motion to go into non-public,
So moved.
a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just let us know, Sharon, when. Non-public.